Okay, so we have this circuit right here. It has a 5-volt battery. It's got a 220 ohm resistor and a little LED that lights up when the circuit's functioning. And I did Ohm's law on it to find the current in amps. Okay, so right now we have this number 0.022727 repeating. So it would be 0 2 2 7 2 7 2 7 2 7 2 7 2 7 all the way down. All right, amps. All right, so what if I don't want to look at this number? I want to look at a decimal number. So we could use scientific notation, right? Yes, but we're going to use engineering notation. Okay, so we have this chart, and if we're looking at this chart, we have the value of 10 to the 12th, 10 to the 9th, 10 to the 6th, 10 to the 3rd, 10 to the negative 3rd, negative 6th, negative 9th, negative 12th, and negative 15th. Then we have how the prefix, that's how we say it, okay? So if we were to say, all right, this has 10 to the 12th value, all right, this has 10 to the 12th value, that's whatever, say like 1 terabyte, okay, or tera. In a computer you would use terabyte, like the hard drive storage. Okay, so that's a T, G for giga, M for mega, which is 10 to the 6th, 3 for kilo, which is a little k, all right? And then we drop below 0, and we go to the -3. -3 is milli, -6 is micro, and it has the mu right there, okay? That's said mu. It's a Greek letter. And then we have 10 to the 9th is nano, 10 to the -12th is pico, and 10 to the -15th is femto. All right, now femto we just won't use because it's too small of a unit for electrical currents. All right, it's just too small. We won't ever use femto. All right, so we're gonna focus from there up. So pico up. So if we're going to go back to here, okay, we're at this number right here, 0.0227 amps, and we want to move the decimal place, all right, to a number that we can actually use. So let's move the decimal place right here, okay? So we can only go in groups of 3 with engineering notation. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So we have 22. Let's get rid of that line, we don't really need it. So we have 22.7. Okay, so we moved the decimal point in a group of 3, all right? Because we're only working in groups of 3, all right? So we can only go in 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, we can move it 3. So we moved it 3 in the negative direction. So 3 in the negative direction. 3 in the negative direction is milli, and it's a little m. So milli, little m, milli amps. Okay? 22.7 milliamps is the correct notation in engineering notation. Okay, now I made a comment that we can only go in groups of 3. That's because we're working in 10 to the 3, 10 to the 6th, 10 to the 9th, 10 to the 12th. We're working in the -3, -6, -9, -12, and -15. That's what we're working with. Okay, we can't just do -7. We can't do -8. We can't do -2. We can't do 10 to the -27th power. We have to go in these groups of 3 because that's what engineering notation is. Okay, so say we have this huge number, 16,346,000,000, that we want to put in engineering notation, not scientific notation, engineering notation. Okay, so we have to get a number that's between 0 and 999 that we want to work with. All right, so I'm looking at it and I see a nice clean number of 16 because we're going in groups of 3. So let's just see, we have group of 3, group of 3, group of 3, and we got 16. So let's write 16.346. Okay, and I went in the positive direction, 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And if we pause, go back to the, so 10 to the 9th, okay? 16 times 10 to the 9th is this number, all right? So this still says 16,346,000,000, all right? But now I'm going to replace this with my symbol. So I can write 16.346. What is it? It is G for giga, all right? And that is putting it in scientific or engineering notation. I'm sorry, this is engineering notation. That's it. Okay, so now we have this really small number that we want to put in engineering notation. We don't have any units with it. It's not ohms, or it's not amps, or it's not volts. It's just a number, okay? So we want to put this in engineering notation. So we need a number between 0 and 999 like before. So let's look at, so we can do 34, we could do 3, we could do 8, we could do 348, but we need to work in groups of 3. So if we split these up in groups of 3, oh, okay, well 348 works nice, so I'm going to write 348.6. Now I have to look at where my or what I moved my decimal place. I moved it in the negative direction, okay? I moved it left, which is negative, or I'm sorry, right, which is negative. I'm looking backwards. We moved it right, which is negative. So times 10 to the negative, what, 6th, which turns out to be micro. Okay, so the unit for micro is the mu symbol, all right? And it's kind of a funky looking U, okay? And that's how you write the 348.6 micro, let's just call this microamps. Okay, so that's it. So just remember that we can only move the decimal in groups of 3. So positive numbers, it's really easy. You can go with the thousands and the millions and the billions and the trillions decimal place values, okay? But with negative numbers, it's a little bit harder. We're going to do a whole bunch of these in class tomorrow or next time we have class. So just if you don't understand, rewind, watch again until you understand, and we'll go over a couple tomorrow together, and then I'm going to cut you loose to finish the activity.